It's time to pet your familiar, tie up your hair, and get ready to cook because today we are making Bridgerton foods for a Bridgerton watch party. At the time of filming this, Bridgerton Season 4 has officially started filming, and I'm obviously very excited for this season, but I have no idea how they're going to plan to glow up Benedict. Anyways, I've wanted to try to do a Regency era party for a while now, and this is an excuse. So we will be making food fit for a Bridgerton watch party, which is basically some British desserts, as well as some cucumber sandwiches. And of course, some tea. Let's get that oven on. To begin, we're going to use a Victoria sponge cake recipe by Paul Hollywood, with the temperature conversions in freedom units. We're going to begin by preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. For this recipe, I would recommend using 2 8-inch springform pans if you have them, but since I don't, we're going to use these pie dishes. To begin, we need to cut out 2 circles of parchment to line the bottom of the pans with. Just fold a square of parchment in half twice, point the tip towards the center of the pan, and cut out at the edge of the dish. When using these, I would recommend giving both sides of the parchment a good spritz so that they stick really well to the bottom. Onto the base of the sponge. We are going to whisk together 230 grams of all-purpose flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 230 grams of powdered sugar, 230 grams of softened unsalted butter, and 4 medium eggs. You can absolutely do this in a bowl with a hand whisk, but I'm going to switch to using a stand mixer for ease of use. You want to whisk this until it barely comes together because you don't really want to develop too much gluten for a sponge cake. We're then going to try and divide the mix as evenly as possible between the 2 pans. You can absolutely use a scale for this, but I decided to eyeball it. We're just then going to smooth out the top of the batter and bake them for about 25 minutes. You should see a lovely color, and of course the toothpick should come out clean. We need to let these cool in the pans for a few minutes before removing them to cool completely on a wire rack. I personally recommend using a kitchen towel for this, but my hands no longer feel heat after working in kitchens for so long. After they've cooled, we can take off the parchment and set aside the prettier of the two, putting the strawberry jam on the ugly stepsister of the bunch. I'm just using an offset spatula here to create a semi-even layer before popping the diamond back on the top. We then need to hit this with some more powdered sugar. I would suggest simply spooning some powdered sugar into a sifter and gently tapping it to create an even layer. Serve it on a cake stand and you have a Victoria sponge cake. Next, we'll need to work on the sticky toffee pudding. To begin, we just need to pit some dates and pour 1 cup of boiling water over them, setting them aside to sit while we grab everything else we need. We need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and grease up your baking dish of choice, in my case a 9x13-inch baking pan. In a food processor, we're going to combine 3 tablespoons of butter, 1 teaspoon baking soda, a pinch of salt, 2/3 cup of dark brown sugar, 2 eggs, 3/4 cups of flour, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we're going to pulse it until it's just combined. We can add the dates and a 1/2 cup of the water to the mixture and pulse it until it's about smooth. We're going to try and pour it evenly into your dish of choice and bake it for about 30 minutes or until it's firm. While it's in the oven, we can go ahead and make the topping. We need to melt 8 tablespoons of butter in a pot, then slowly add in 2 1/4 cups of heavy cream and 9 tablespoons of dark brown sugar, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, whisking it over medium heat until it comes to a simmer. We're then going to pour some of the sauce over the dessert, but we will save some for serving. I'm going to cut some rounds out of this for aesthetic's sake, but you can absolutely cut them into squares if you would prefer. Spoon some sauce over top to serve. Finally, let's make the cucumber sandwiches. We need to start by breaking down 1 cucumber a bit by macerating it. We can do this by peeling it, then laying them out on a rack with paper towels, sprinkling them with salt, which will help make them softer and draw out some of the moisture. We're going to let them sit while we work on the filling. We need to set out some butter, then mix together room temperature cream cheese, a little pepper, a little salt, and 1 teaspoon of dill. We're going to cut the crusts off of soft sandwich bread, butter them, and then spread the mixture onto both sides. We can then pat the cucumbers dry and place some slices on the sandwiches, then slicing the sandwiches in half. Now let's look at this spread. Make sure to pour yourself some English-style tea and serve your guests a copy of the new Whistledown while they eat. I was honestly rather shocked about how good this spread tasted considering all the memes about British food, but I definitely personally recommend the sticky toffee pudding out of all this and hope you try it during your own watch party when Benedict gets its own season premiere. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to see more if you haven't already. See you next time.